Hey, my name is Nakia and I did 275K my first year and then went on to do $1.4 million on Amazon. Now I'm determined to help other product business owners grow their stores, create their stores from scratch, and just be the realest of reals. So today's topic is I wanted to talk about my experience from growing my Instagram account using my methodologies and my teaching that I teach my clients from 0 to 100, because I wanted to get real here. So I noticed that, you'll see a lot of YouTubers in general where, they'll share the beginners, like what you should do, like to grow your store, for example, or they'll share, how I went from 0 to 25K, for example. But what I noticed is people don't tend to share like what it's like growing from 0 to 100. Why I say that is because as I was going through this process, I wanted to share some of the tips I learned as I was going from 0 to 100. And I want to be clear, like my zone of genius is on Facebook, but it doesn't matter because the same principles work, right? The principles that I teach work on any platform, but I wanted to share the real experience of, how it feels, what it's like some of the tips, some of the things that I've done on Instagram, going from that 0 to 100, right? Probably the next video is going to be going from 100 to 1,000, but let's get into it and I'll share my points. So I may be small on Instagram, but I'm still mighty, y'all. Though you may be small on Instagram, you are still mighty. So as I've been jumping on Instagram, I quickly learned that Instagram is a whole different beast, right? Because if you don't know the fundamentals, so if you don't know who you're talking to, if you don't know who your audience is, you ain't attracting anybody, right? So if you don't know who you're talking to, if you don't know who your audience is, you ain't attracting anyone. So the key thing, especially when you're starting from 0, okay? When you're starting from 0, you need to know who you're talking to. Like you can't go on there and be like, okay, like whoever comes to me, like that's that. So this is going for a product as well. So I'm just sharing my experience, but this is going for a product-based business. Like you can't go on any platform and just be like, hey, I sell t-shirts. So this is for anyone that sells t-shirts. Because if you're speaking to everyone, you are selling to no one. So I just want to be clear that my Instagram is very targeted to product-based owners or people who want to start from scratch or people who are looking to grow their stores. So there's a lot of tips shared, a lot of mindset, a mixture of things. Whatever you need, business fundamentals, you would need to grow your product store. So let's get right into it. Things I did was I definitely created pillars. So I created about 4 pillars. So one of the main focuses was mindset, connection, advice for a new store owner, advice as a person that already has their store. So it was that main 4. So this is to show you that I didn't just go in there and be like, okay guys, buy my stuff, like join my webinar. No. Like you're giving value first. So the first things first is that even if you have your account ready, you need 4 pillars. You need 4 topics that you're gonna talk about around whatever you're selling. So notice one of my pillars wasn't like, coaching. No, because if I'm talking about to store owners, right, and I'm nurturing them, like I'm already doing the coaching within the training. Does that make sense? So just like you have to take it slow when you are meeting new people, you're meeting, like if you meet a friend right now, you're not gonna just be like, hey, buy my stuff. No, not new people, because they're cold, right? So the whole idea is when you have your Instagram, because a lot of people, when they start their Instagram, they just think of it as a $sign. So they're like, okay, I'm gonna get sales right now. And sometimes it doesn't go like that. Some people will, but most of the time you have to spend time nurturing your audience, warming them up, because they're watching you, right? Don't you watch people when you just see them? You watch them for a while, right? So I know everyone has said it. Instagram is not just a photo app. And when I went on there, at first I was just posting photos. So you would notice in the beginning, I was just posting photos and like that was that. But then I got to notice later on that Instagram was just more than that. So I'm not saying that you can't post photos. like you won't do well with it, because there are people who get away with just posting photos and they are square. But I feel like, especially if you're starting now, you need to test more things. So it's not about saying, oh, you can't do this and you can't do that, but you need to test more things. Use that time, like especially if you're in that learning mode and you're trying to figure out Instagram, to have fun. Like, don't put pressure on yourself, but have fun in terms of trying new things. So trying lives, reels, right? Carousels, single posts, tip posts, stat posts, right? And I'm sure we can keep on going down the list with that. But these are some of the things that you can try, that you can figure out, okay, what is your audience gravitate to? Because the reality is that we all are different. We all are attracted to different things. We're not attracted to the same things. One of the things that I did that I don't recommend people to do is automatically get a graphic designer and like tell them, hey, create a whole like branding post for you. I'm not talking about like your actual business, like logos and stuff. Like, I don't recommend hiring someone, and I'll tell you why. As you do more and more things, right? So as you start to test more, as you start to get more consistent, what happens with your mind is your mind starts coming up with solutions, right? So then the more solutions you have, then you're like, okay, let me tweak this thing. Eventually you'll start off with one design and then you'll finish off with like another design that like didn't even look like the original one, because you are in that testing mode. You're in that mode where you're feeling things out, you're learning, right? And so I found this, what happened with me is that I paid someone, and I would say like she helped me to a certain extent, like the figuring out the colors, but let's just face it, you can do that yourself. So right here you can see my progress. So this is how it started, this is where it's at, and you can see how it progresses, because I started learning and then changing it based on the aesthetics and what people are liking, and you know, just getting an idea, getting a feel, making it look more cleaner. Whatever your style may be, it doesn't have to be clean, but your style is gonna evolve. You're gonna get better and better and better the more you do it. And the thing about it is I grew so much doing those designs. How I started, because I think a lot of it too is when I hired a designer, I wasn't confident. Like, I wasn't sure of myself. Like, I didn't trust myself. So I was like, no, I need someone. But when in fact, I didn't really need help. You feel me? Like, I didn't really need help, right? I just needed to trust myself. So I would tell you, if anything, right, as you're doing your Instagram account and you're creating creatives, whatever it may be, trust yourself. You are the best designer. Obviously, as long as you have creative capabilities. But you are your best designer. You know exactly what you want. And usually, most of the time, no one could do it like you, right? Nothing's wrong with hiring a designer, right? But no one could do it like you. So another thing I did was I watched other people in the space. Now, I recommend people all the time to look at their competition, like look at the things that they're doing, because that's how you learn. That's how you evolve. That's how you get ideas, because you get to see, you basically get a cheat sheet to see what's working. And one of the things I saw people do a lot of was carousels and reels, but carousels were a big one. And that's when I started incorporating that. It's very helpful, it's very informative, and when people come in your profile, that's what sucks them in, because they start swiping, right? And I actually ended up enjoying it. So I would say that if you enjoy doing something, keep on doing it. Don't change, don't deviate from it. And hello, if you're enjoying this so far, definitely click the like button. Don't worry about engagement. Usually engagement is one of the top things I notice people worry about, especially in the beginning, right? Especially when you have an itty bitty account. I've seen people, especially product store owners, where they would stop. And I'll be like, no, dude, you have to keep on going. You have to be consistent. Like, you have to keep the spirit alive. You get what I'm saying? So what I would say to you is don't worry about engagements, right? Because that will come as you're consistent, as you're basically interacting with other people, connecting with other people. So people are gonna connect, right? As you start engaging with others, they're gonna engage with you. And what I noticed, that though it was a small account, as I was consistent, I noticed that I was seeing progress. So I would see comments here and there. Like, I started seeing comments and people liking it, more and more people liking it. So it does work. And along with engagement is that people are gonna follow you and unfollow. That's just the nature of Instagram. So don't be getting discouraged when people unfollow you. You'll be all right, girl. You'll be all right. Don't worry about it, right? Because that's what people do, and you want your right ideal customer to be following you. So when people unfollow me, I'm like, okay, they weren't the right they're not my people, right? I want my people follow me. I want people to be like, yeah, Nakia, like post it for me, like you. So don't worry about follows. Don't worry about it, because that doesn't, at the end of the day, that doesn't make you money, right? You want to worry about whatever goal you have for your account, but your main goal shouldn't be follows, because there's people who have tons of followers and not making any money, right? So your goal is to be creating engagement, connecting with people. I know I keep on saying like a broken record, but it's really to be connecting with people and growing your account and seeing progress and eventually engagement and all that good stuff. And I'm gonna be real with you. I'm using the same strategies that I'm teaching my clients on this account. So it's very interesting to see how it progresses. Like I really enjoy seeing like how it progresses, and I'm actually attracting product-based owners while seeing them liking my posts. And then that's how I know it's usually working, because I'm like, yeah. By the way, I wanted to share this with you guys because Black Friday is coming up, and one of the things I'm doing is I'm doing a Let's Go Bananas workshop where I basically teach you from scratch. You're gonna basically be watching me, and I'm gonna be building a store from scratch and using all the fundamentals. So like attracting your client, like your dream customer, attracting how to get more sales, right? So basically what I would do in the beginning if I were to do this all over again. So you'll be basically getting to see what my thought process is, and you'll be learning along the way. So if you currently been thinking about having a store and you want to figure out what profitable product you should choose, this workshop's for you. Definitely click the link down below for the Let's Go Bananas workshop. So excited to see you guys. Batching, scheduling content, all that stuff. So be honest, I tried it both ways. And I tried the way where every day I would basically, so I would always plan my post in advance. So I'd write it out in a spreadsheet. But then I would, every day what I started doing is I would design my post. And to be honest, I found that took a lot of time, right? So then I started testing like designing the post in advance and making the captions in advance for that week. And honestly, I found that way better, because the idea is that if you want to be consistent, you need to set yourself up for success. So the more prepared you are, the better. So I highly suggest like you find what works for you. Maybe it's designing every day, one post a day. Or maybe it's doing it in batches first, and then so you have it all ready. It's ready to go, it's set. You have to decide what's best for you. So I'm gonna be real, there's a lot of people out there that's gonna tell you, find all these hashtags, and then comment on them, comment on 50 to 100 hashtags. And I'm gonna be real, I found that the best results I've gotten, like in terms of interacting, was genuinely after interacting with accounts that I actually like. So what I'm gonna say here is that don't be fake. Don't be fake, daughter. Like be real as you can be, and only choose to comment on your ideal customer's page that you actually like you actually like their content. And don't be doing, oh, love it, and then put an emoji. Like do a real comment. Like if this was a friend on Facebook and you're like, hell yeah girl, I could relate in so and so and so, like you want that type of comment. And so I've been doing this, and I found that I got way better results, especially when I was consistent. You get way better results, and every time I do this, my account grows. When I'm real about the comments and I'm genuine, I found that I connect better. It's just something about it, like rather than when you're fake and you're just trying to like shoot bullets at all the, and you're just trying to get like all the comments out there. Like no, stop doing that. Like focus on targeting the hashtags that you know that your target customer is hanging around. So one of the things that I did wrong, like in the beginning, was I was targeting online boutique, for example, and I put in my post because I was like, yeah, that's all the product-based owners, that's where they're at. But then as I started doing more and more, I realized, wait, they're just putting those hashtags in they're putting their hashtags with their content, right? So product business owners are not actually hanging around there. They're just tagging their stuff so a consumer can see it, right? So what I started doing is I started tagging like hashtags around business, right? Because that's where they're hanging out, right? Product-based owners are usually hanging around like the business type tips, type things, right? Because they're learning to improve their business, which makes sense. So my advice is to find hashtags that you know your target customer is hanging out. There's a difference. So you can use those hashtags where you know like all your target like client is always using, right? Because that's where you're gonna find those type of businesses. Let me know in the comments what you think about this. What was your journey like from 0 to 100 followers? What was your journey like? Instagram overall is a long game. It's not a short game. It's not something where you're like, let me just jump in so I can get all the sales on earth. No, it's a long game. But the thing is that once you build it, you reap the benefits and you learn a lot along the way. It's a really good platform to grow on. But I wanted to share this because I see a lot of people, you know, we're looking at the people who grow from 0 to 25K in like 1 month, or 0 to 8,000 in 1 month. But I did this video to remind you that that's not everyone's story. And there's no reason to compare yourself to someone that's doing that and feel like you're doing something wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You're growing how you're supposed to grow. That's how you're supposed to grow. That is your journey. And so I just wanted to be real and share a real video of what it's like from 0 to 100. And I can tell you, like, yeah, you might feel some ways when you're like, oh my God, like no one's commenting yet, but that's okay because you are in it for the long game, right? You know that eventually you're gonna get to getting people engaged, right? People are gonna be following you, people are gonna talk to you, you're gonna build real friends in the community. That's how you have to think about it. It's a long game, y'all, right? Don't be getting discouraged if no one likes your posts. If you just started and they don't even know who the heck you are and you just started for your business, don't be discouraged. Take that time to build that know, like, and trust, right? Because that's when people are gonna buy. Is when you build that know, like, and trust and they're like, hey, I know that Nakia girl, like I trust her. And then people are gonna start interacting. But people have this mindset because they see people grow that, oh, hey, like I'm new, so they're gonna just automatically interact. No, you're cold, girl. You're cold. And if you enjoyed this video, like this video to oblivion, like this video, and see you again next week.